welcome to another live episode of Stuck in My Mind podcast. I am your host, WIZE. I have a very special guest. He's a fellow podcaster, entrepreneur. I'm excited to have him on here because we're going to talk about something I really love talking about, mindset. Welcome to the show, Jesse Fisco.
Hey, thank you so much, Wise. I'm super excited to be here with you today.
Oh, I'm excited myself. I love when it comes to mindset. That's something I love talking about. It's something people we don't really. It's not something we're taught growing up. That's something eventually, when as you get older, you learn that. Hey, but I'm excited. So, Jesse, tell us something about a little something about yourself.
Yeah, I'll kind of give you my background. This I kind of jumped into this space about a year and a half, 2 years ago. My initial background is real estate, and I have a few real estate companies throughout the U.S. And I'm very passionate about that, flipping houses, selling, helping people buy and sell. Long story short, um, around 2021, so just under a year, I found myself like coming off the greatest like financial experience my entire life. And I also found myself being the heaviest I'd ever been. And my wife and I, we found ourselves in this like disagreement, kind of a weird, like, what's going on. We just had our second child. So 2 months in, no one's sleeping. And she finally just looked at me and she's like, I don't even know who you are anymore. I just don't know. And, long story short, I didn't even know who I was anymore. Like, all I did was talk about business. All I was focused on was money. And it got very, very rough for a little bit. And so went on this journey to like find myself. And what I found, we're going to talk about a lot of this today, is what I found was a lot of it was internal. A lot of it was beliefs that I had accepted from the ages of like 5 to 7 years old that had just mutated over time as I continued to have life experiences. And as I studied more about that, I found even more that everyone has this. Everyone has these accepted beliefs that they have no idea. Like, it's so common, it's such a habit that it's now like in the back of our minds and it's just on autopilot. And I really took the that to heart and wanted to focus on it. And so as I did, I turned my life around. Like, short 5 6 months, I dropped 40 pounds, like
Wow.
something I never thought was possible for me. And then I was able to make small tweaks to my business and things I never really experienced in my life. And then after all of this change, I had a lot of people like reaching out. And like, keep in mind, 5 months for a lot of this like dramatic stuff to happen. I mean, I was kind of taken by storm as well. And I always had it in me, but I didn't realize like I actually had a gift and this was what my higher purpose in life was. And I found that out. So I threw together my business and started my podcast, and it has gone absolutely through the roof.
As soon as we jump on, somebody already wants to collaborate with you, Jesse.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'd love to collaborate with anyone.
Facebook user, since you didn't accept StreamYard, whatever it is, I just need you to comment on who you are because I see you as Facebook user, so I'll
Yeah.
probably find out later when I go on Facebook. But
Yeah. Amazing story, man. Like, I was at the lowest point of my life, and financially I was at the highest point, right? Like, making seven figures, not a big deal. And but all that doesn't matter. None of that matters until you actually realize like what really matters to you and what your purpose is. And so, yeah, it was all the business ideas and stuff. I have that. It's internal, it's locked in, but man, like finding myself, that was the biggest thing and the biggest obstacle. And I could go way back and talk about like all my past and my growing up and stuff, but we'll keep it short for the sake of the show. But a lot of it had to do with what I accepted and what I started to believe from the ages of 5 to 7 years old.
and it's a lot of us, like you said, a lot of us are programmed that way. We need a brain rewiring. Taking a page out of Bob Doyle, who I had on the show. He's a contributor to The Secret, and it was um it was The Secret that kind of set me on my path years ago, and law of attraction and all that. And For me, it's just been just like yourself. I had to realize internally that I had to change some things about myself. There was things within myself that I needed to change in order for me to grow.
Yeah.
And once you make that change, people you start attracting the right people into your life. You start attracting so many different things, and the networking, the everything starts shifting
Oh, yeah.
into
Totally.
into a direction that you probably weren't expecting to go. When I
Mhm.
started this, I started it because it was something I wanted to do, but it has helped me find my purpose. It's helped me find that being able to do my podcast, being able to interview people like yourself, to have you come on, tell your story, talk about what you're doing now to help you become even more successful than what you are. Because, like you said, you had a successful real estate business and all that, but were you happy?
No, not at all. It was, the biggest question I received, my wife was like, "What do you want? Like, what do you like to do?" And I couldn't even answer. Like, I'll go to my default answer. I love basketball, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not going to the NBA. Like 30, 32 years old, 5'10", right? Like, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have LeBron just jumping over the top of me. And so I could say basketball, but other than that, like, I can't remember the last time I had gone on a vacation at that point. I don't even know, like, if I enjoy hiking or if I enjoy the beach. Like, I couldn't tell you what I really liked because I was so locked into just business. And to kind of go deep, the reason why I was so locked in, some of the listeners here may be like, dude, like, come on, man, your family's the most important thing, right? I knew that, but what I had accepted was that in order for my family to stay together, because I come from a divorced family, in order for my family to stay together, I had to provide the financial means to give them what they wanted so that they were happy. So I tied financial and working to happiness. And so I strived every single day to give happiness to my family in the form of working hard and working long days so that they had the money. There was never financial worry. And then what ultimately ended up happening is I realized that that program is the same program that my dad installed in my mind as a kid. I saw the same thing. And ultimately, what happened was he turned to drugs, he turned to alcohol, and the family separated. And that was, you know, granted, I'm never going to touch drugs or alcohol for me because that was, like I saw all the crap that happened from his decisions, but I was on that same path. And that was reality. I didn't know myself. I lost myself. So I had to go on this journey, like find myself and find what it was. And as that confidence grew, that was the biggest thing that happened for me is like I started feeling better about myself. I started looking at myself differently. And because I started looking at myself differently, I started attracting different clients. And then I had people asking me, "Can you coach me?" Like I realized I was not the only one, right? And then yeah, here we sit today. And just absolutely grateful for the opportunity that I found what it was. Like I still have my real estate business and that's a huge passion of mine. But the actual purpose of my life here is to help other people find themselves because it's so easy to lose yourself in work and in finances and and quite honestly, a scarcity mindset.
But it's sometimes it's when you don't know when is when you don't balance it out
Mhm.
is when you really start because you see all these celebrities and all these people that have money and they're not happy.
Yep.
And people that's something like you said, it's something that we 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 say, oh, I mean, I gotta make all this money in order to be happy. And that's not the truth.
Right.
The fact that, like you said, you don't even know if you like hiking, you don't even know if you like walking on the beach, you don't know any of that because you didn't get to do it. You didn't do it.
Right.
You was focused more on working and doing work and not enjoying life, not enjoying the things around you. Like, and I understand, yes, we're here to provide for our families, and but we also have time is precious. Time is that's something that we that's something we don't never get back.
Yeah,
So it's those moments that we have that we spend with our family and those that we love, doing things that we enjoy doing. Those are the moments. Those are the times that we're supposed to be here enjoying and doing stuff like this, being able to share and help people. That's what I've realized, that that's my purpose as well. I was I'm 46 years old. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life.
mm,
Honestly, didn't know. I started podcasting. It started giving me purpose, being able to help people develop, help deliver messages like from yourself and other people and other guests that I've had on to help people learn and grow. And that's what I'm realizing, that I'm here to help people.
that's awesome. That's so cool. I think, like, the one thing I really wanna reiterate is, like, this was all done unconsciously. Like, it was just my fate. I felt like this is where I was destined to be, right? Like, I was destined to make money because I had a great work ethic, but then I was also destined to be miserable, and that was just kind of the acceptance, right? Like, "Oh, I can't do the things I truly wanted to do." And how it flipped the switch, and this is something I really, really focus in on when I help entrepreneurs. Like, my whole goal is to provide them holistic coaching to create massive financial success and win in their life and in their relationship. That's my whole goal. And so what I found was I started writing down all the things I wanted, right? I went on this quest to, like, what is it that I truly, truly want? And so I challenged myself to write down 100 things. If money was not an issue, 100 things, and it had to be specifically for me, not my family, not my kids. I had to go internally. Like, for those that are religious, you got to clean out the inner vessel, right? We've heard that before. So I went in to clean out the internal mess that I created. And so I started writing things down, and boom, like, something just hit me. I wrote down private island Mexico. And I was like, all right, money's not an issue, whatever. And I went and I started looking at a private island in Mexico. And wise, I found that I could actually afford it right now.
Wow.
And then the minute I wrote that down, I was like, "Okay, private island, Mexico." A flood of doubt and a flood of all these things. Well, you can't do that because you haven't been on a vacation with your family in 5 years. You couldn't do that because you've got this business. You couldn't do that because, what would other people think? And all these emotions and, like, these thoughts started coming to my mind. And what I challenge people to do is write those down, because those are an internal or a symbolism of what you believe on the inside. And so I started writing those things down, and those were the keys that unlocked my business. Those are the keys that took my business from 7 figures to 8. And those were the things that were holding me back. And I had no idea until I started getting really personal with myself. Well, the best news about that is I was attacking things that were keeping me from having vacations. 3 months later, I'm on a vacation for the first time in 5 years, doing something amazing. And it's because in those short 3 months, I found what it was that was holding me back, and I made the necessary hires in my company to get me out of that. So I found the very things that were holding me, keeping me from going, and it changed my whole trajectory, right? So now I'm out on a cruise ship, on a Disney cruise, taking my 5-year-old daughter and 2-year-old son, like, the things that mean the most to me, what I want to do, I want to enjoy my money. It opened up the whole world because I was able to internalize, figure out what was holding me back, and it got me to the result I truly wanted, right? It was amazing. Like, absolutely mind-changing and blowing. And that's where we start in our coaching program, is we start internalizing what it is you truly want, because there may be things you can afford that you just have told yourself you can't afford because of a unconscious decision or unconscious belief internally. Maybe you feel like you're not deserving to go buy yourself $100 pair of shoes. Like, that's a big deal, right? It's $100. You'll make that back. Now, I'm not encouraging people to go spend frivolously, but I'm saying, like, maybe you can afford it. So why haven't you done it yet? Right? And there's probably something internal that you haven't considered.
Yeah. It there's, again, like you said, there's a lot of beliefs that we get from when we're young.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things when we're young that we're taught that, oh no, you can't do this, or you shouldn't buy this, or you'll never be able to afford this, or you'll never be able to do this. And it's something that because even when I started the podcast, it was me. I had nothing but self doubt.
Right.
I'm like, I made up excuses for why. Oh, who's gonna listen to me? I sound horrible. Whatever. All that was the self doubt in myself, and that was the programming in myself telling me you can't do this, you can't do this. Until I finally decided to be like, no, here we go, press record. Let's do this. Let's release this. Let's get this going.
Yeah.
And once I started that and started focusing more on being more positive, being believing in myself more than what I had, and realizing that, oh, I can do this. And the more I did it, the more I improved, the more I felt like I needed to invest in myself,
Mhm.
take courses, listen to people like Bob Doyle, listen to people like Eric Thomas, listen to all these Tony Robbins, listening to them and changing things. And I'm still growing, and I'm still changing, I'm still adapting, and but that's the only way for me to get to where I want to be, where I'm able to enjoy that time with my family away. Me and the wife go on vacation, but we kind of got in a rut, and
Yeah.
we hadn't taken a vacation in a while until this past year when we went to Aruba
Oh, awesome.
and got to experience Aruba and I love Aruba.
Yeah.
And so it's it's realizing like those are the times that I want to be able to just, hey, honey, let's go away for a week.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, I can stand with, like, with my podcast, I do everything. But I think it's time for me to start releasing some of the duties and some of the stuff to free myself up to do other things, to focus on other things. But sometimes it's hard to release that control.
Yes. Yeah. And that's a great question to kind of address that. Like when someone brings up a control question, like the first question I ask is at what point did you decide you weren't in control, right? Like of your life, of the outcomes. And I'm going to challenge a little bit. I'm going to give people a little bit of a pushback and say, okay, so do you feel that by hiring someone you've lost control? Because at that point, now we're going to go internalize and and check and see, okay, all right, where have I lost control in my life or felt like I've been out of control? And then we're going to go back in and say, okay, well, if we have a map, if we have a blueprint of where we're taking this business, right? And we actually know, then all we would have to do is provide the blueprint, like building a home, right? Provide the blueprint to the other people that are going to help build in their area and their knowledge. So if they have the map and they can follow it and add their expertise and skills, then wouldn't we have even more control and be able to look at things from a different point of view and maybe even experience greater outcomes because now we're allowing someone else their individual creativity to come in and really shine and fill in where we're weak, right? And so control is such an interesting topic. My wife and I, we talk about this all the time at home because those are real feelings. Like with any business, I remember that the first time I hired an admin, I was like, oh my gosh. And then I told myself, oh, well, then I got to train, I got to do all these things. And I felt all these limiting beliefs because I didn't actually know what the blueprint was. I had an idea in my mind, but when I took the time to write down, this is why we do this is why we do that, and actually make everything incongruent, then I was able to just provide that to the admin. The admin took over and did an amazing job. It was easy, right? But I had gone through like 2 or 3 admins at that point and realized that it wasn't the fact that they weren't doing a good job, it's just that I wasn't absolutely understanding what I was doing. I was just kinda shooting from the hip. A lot of entrepreneurs do that, right? Because we shot from the hip up to this point, now here we are, and we're like, "I don't even know what works or what's going on," but it's because we haven't taken the time to really evaluate what has worked and then put the time and focus into those things because we're too busy trying to, "Well, I gotta do this, I gotta do that." It's you get it. you're running this podcast by yourself. You got to find the guest speaker. You've got to turn around and get everything organized, plan, schedule, record the podcast, make sure the audio is good, edit the podcast, upload the podcast, distribute it out. There's all these things you're doing. So how do you have time to actually sit down and write it all out? Like, and that's where a lot of entrepreneurs in our program, that's what we help them do, is figure it out. Like, is it possible for you to only work 20% of the time, but still get 100% of the effort and output that you would by doing 100% effort and output? And I would say yes, and it is, but it's only after you understand what the blueprint is and how everything flows and the why behind it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. It
Yeah.
it's and it's because I'm realizing that I need to get me a VA and help me, because now it's someone else focusing on doing other stuff, and like I said, it gives me opportunities to do other things, to really maybe go be on more podcasts. Now I have time now to go be a guest on podcasts or be a guest on other things, and it's just, again, like, it's just me. I have great partners. I have my nephew Poppy J and my homegirl Brandy J, who she does all the she's promoting my podcast everywhere. She's sharing it, as long and with sharing her podcast as well. She just loves doing that part of the work and everything. And so I'm blessed to be able to have someone like her. Then I have my nephew Poppy J, who he likes doing the clips, editing the clips and doing this and being able to post that on social media. So I've been blessed to be able to not have to focus on that and not do that. But there's other things, like another reason I decided to go live. It helps me on editing. I don't necessarily have to edit anymore because now I'm live and people just can catch the rebroadcast.
Awesome.
So I save on that. The only thing I really have to edit now is when I convert it to my audio,
Sure.
just a strictly audio podcast.
Mhm. So then I would ask you, like, I kind of get the vibe. Why is that we're going to be going into like a little bit of a coaching, like a little one-on-one here.
Hey,
So
this
then
works.
I'm going to ask you what it is you truly want with the podcast. What is the true end all result? If you could go 15 years ahead from now, where is it?
Where's the podcast?
Where's the podcast at?
Ooh, 15 years from now. Oh, that's a long time.
You see, I'll put a little nugget here. Like, most people only set goals for 1 year, right?
Yeah.
And those goals, like 92% of people actually fail their goals. So only 8% of people hit their goals. Studies have shown this. You can go Google it. And I'm going to challenge and say the reason why is because it's such a short-minded goal. And then along with all the excuses, and I also think that humanity has been designed and created a habit of just setting a goal and failing their goal. So I'd like to push it out 15 years. Like 15 years of growth, where are you sitting? What are you doing? Right? And actually create that in your mind. Because along with the coaching, I say holistic because there's a lot of science behind it. But your brain, one of the coolest things about your brain is it doesn't know the difference between the past, the present, or the future when you are thinking. So if you could think of where you wanted your actual business in 15 years and you could visualize it, internalize it, what would it look like? What would it feel like when you got to that point? All these amazing things, right? Build up the sensory behind it. Your brain, what it does is it starts communicating with the cells in your body. And it goes, oh my gosh, we've got to create more intuition. We've got to create more proteins because this is going to take a lot of energy. How are we going to pull from these resources? And your brain literally starts communicating with cells that start to create more protein that gives your body more energy. And it, like, when I understood that, it blew my mind, right? And that's the thing, is when we start working towards like what we truly want and like creating a vision, it becomes more real to us. Our bodies don't even know the difference of what we're experiencing because we're deep in thought. Therefore, our bodies start to go to action, and we can even feel emotions tied to that. And those are things that can help us and drive us towards our goals. So, I would be asking like what it is that you want in 15 years and write it down, right? You don't need to provide me an answer right now, but like write it down. And then what you do is you start at the very top of the end all be all goal you want to take this thing, and then you just start going backwards with it. And you start to understand that these little steps here is what's going to create the actual outcome. Too many people think, "Oh, I just need money. I'm going to throw a bunch of money behind this. I'm going to throw a bunch of ads behind it." No, no, no. What it is you've just got to get congruent with what the plan is and then execute on that plan. And as you execute on the plan, just like a blueprint of the home's built, right? And it's a good home, assuming that, you know, it's an ecological win-win situation and the contractors aren't doing something weird with it, right? Assuming that
Yeah,
everything's good, you're gonna have what you want.
yeah, and you're absolutely right. It is a blueprint. It's something, and that's something I, si- since I've been on this journey now that I've really been working on. That's it's focusing more on long term goals. Yes, I have short term goals. Yes,
Right.
but like you said, it when you set these short term goals, you don't give yourself time to really chase them. You don't really give yourself time. You expect you put some unnecessary pressure on yourself
Mhm.
where you can just like this is my goal. Whatever it takes me to get there, I'm gonna get there. I'm not gonna put all this pressure on myself. I need to get it done by the end of this year.
Right.
No, I need this. This is my goal. I want to get I want to get this certification. Oh, look, I got this time off. Let me do it then. Let me get it done there. Or you start realizing, okay, I want to do this. I want to get this done. I want to accomplish this. And when you start, like you said, writing it down and putting it out there, it seems like the time starts appearing for you to be able to do these things.
Yep. Absolutely. And the resources become available too. And it's so interesting. I can tell you why is in my coaching business, I literally the same things I challenged you to do today. I wrote down where I want to be 15 years from now. Um, and I set a certain financial goal. And then what I found is that I've plugged and played everything and I have the blueprint. And within 6 months, took this business from absolutely nothing to over seven figures. Like the fastest I've ever done a business. My real estate business took me 5 years to get where I need to be, like to finally break that. This is 6 months. And it's not anything other than being absolutely incongruent. And then what you find is people start coming to you because they're aligning with your plan. They're feeling that energy that you're creating. And so I was able to go and talk to my marketing company, and this guy, I just shot it out there. It's like, "Hey, I need a marketing company." And this guy reached out to me, and what he took for my marketing changed my entire perception and vision of my company. So now it goes from, "Oh, hey, we'll raise this to a $10 million company," to now we actually have taken it and said, "This is going to be a $250 million company, and it's going to be a $250 million company in the next 8 years." And what's so funny is we can see every single step of the way. So now it's just like, all right, we already know what we're doing in 6 months because we've gotten so detailed in the plan that I literally, after walking out of this marketing meeting, I called my wife and I was like, "There's no freaking way I can fail." Like, because it's so precise and so easy that it's just gonna happen. Right? Now imagine walking into your confidently like that with your business or with your life, your relationship, right? My relationship cannot fail because I'm so focused in on what I want, what my spouse wants, or my significant other, whatever the case, that there's no way this could fail. Or imagine like any goal. That's what we're trying to create within the emerge coaching is to be so specific and so locked into what you want that it's like it's just a waiting game at this point. If you do these things, boom, it's done and you'll be there. And it's such a cool feeling to have because for the first time in my life, I actually felt like I've been in control and not just in control of like the things that are around me, but like everything. Like even to the response I get at the grocery store if someone's like, "Hey, screw you," or gives me the bird, whatever, I'm in control of that because then I go and say, "What am I doing that is causing this?" And I can go back in and focus and find maybe there's some things I'm lacking and I'm starting to change my model of the world, right? And it allows me to get better every single day. It's such a cool process and evolution of change.
No, I agree with you. There was a situation at work where I was having an issue with a certain coworker, and after a while, I was like, maybe it's me. Let
Mhm,
me let me let me internalize this. Let me look at this from a different view, a different perspective, and maybe it's me. And when I did that, and I started changing things about it, the relationship started getting better.
mhm,
It's not we're not friends or in, but it's gotten to the point where now we're able to be cordial, and work goes fine now. Like prior to that, it was like I don't gotta work with this, but now when I internalized it and decided like maybe it's something I'm doing, maybe it's the energy that I'm putting out there,
mhm,
and so when I shifted it and shifted towards working, just being, I guess, being a little bit more empathetic, being more understanding from where he was coming from,
mhm.
and and it just made me realize like sometimes when I have an issue, maybe it's not the other person, maybe it's not something they're doing, maybe it's something that I am doing. What is it that I need to change? What is it that I need to shift in order to improve that relationship?
I love it. See, oftentimes people create an assumption or they presuppose an event, the likelihood of an event. An example would be one of our clients. We were talking to her and she said, "Oh, my husband, he would never go to this yoga Valentine's Day experience." And we're like, "Never? You sure? Why not?" "Oh, because he would never do that and like he's not that type of person. That's not his crowd." And I was like, "I'm gonna challenge you, right? Because what you're saying right now, you've already assumed that he's not going to. That energy is already out there that you don't even want him there. Like, there's no point in you even asking."
Yeah,
So we went back and said, "Okay, you know what? Let's reframe this. What does he like? He likes time. He likes to spend time with me. All right, then why don't we call it a yoga date night?" Right? So she went back to her husband. "Hey, you know what? There's this yoga date night. I figured if I got the babysitter, we could go and do this." And his response was, "Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it." She was floored. And the reason why is because we create with our assumptions and we presuppose that the outcome is this based off of our own beliefs. And what she found really quickly was it wasn't any of that. It was her that was limiting the situation for what she wanted because she presupposed on behalf of her husband. And when we went in and did that, it was so interesting because she ended up getting what she wanted and things started to change for her. And it was an amazing experience, right? So they're signed up now for this Valentine's Day yoga experience. And, you know, like that's all it takes sometimes is just like you said, going back and saying, what if I was the problem? What if it's the way I'm delivering this message to my coworker? Maybe the reason why I'm not getting a raise at my job is because of the way I am communicating with my boss, right? And as we start to change it and go, you know what? I'm just going to say hi to my boss today and I'm going to put this little small change into my life. When you start to take those actions, the energy is felt and things are changing. And a lot of it's just eliminating those presuppositions and those assumptions. And those assumptions generally are what we feel like inside about ourselves. Oh, I don't feel good enough to get that raise. Therefore, my boss isn't going to give me a raise. Ah, that's not your boss's fault. It's your fault because you don't feel deserving. So, how do we attack that?
yeah.
So,
It is again. It's all about the mindset, and it wasn't until I shifted minds, until I started really getting back into development, getting back into reading, getting back into learning more, and it wasn't until then, it wasn't until I started doing that that things started picking up, things started shifting, things started developing, the relationships you start building, the people that you start attracted into your life that want to help you grow and develop, the people that come into your life and make an impact in order for you to take that next step. Because that's why people like yourself, it's important to have people like you to come out and start these programs and start these courses to help people, because people need the coaching. This is something that people need. I recommend anyone go out there and get a mentor, get a coach. If it's not you or someone else or me, go find someone that you're comfortable with and what they're saying resonates with you.
Mhm. I agree 100%. In fact, this year alone, I've invested quite quite a bit of $100,000 into my coaching and my knowledge, because it's ever growing, right? Like, you
Mhm,
can never be coached enough. Knowledge is something that will, continue to go with you, and so yeah, I mean, I invest in myself, and I found that, even with this coaching program, right? My background's real estate. Like, so I had to learn how to publicly speak. I had to learn to, like, be able to connect with audiences and truly understand, like, the way that I speak, the way that I use my body are all ways that I could enhance the rapport building with a client, right? Because in order to get these deep feelings from clients and these limiting beliefs, I've got to have absolute rapport. They got to be able to trust me. So those were things that I had to invest in myself as well. And I'm still learning, right? I think that that's the biggest thing, is just because I'm here. And some people may perceive that as like, oh, he made it. No, it's not, because my goal is even more than that, right? Like, my goal is to help people understand their divine nature on this earth, like their divine role and what they actually could be capable of. Maybe from a spiritual standpoint, or maybe just as like a father or a mother, and helping people understand that what they do today will have generational changes in their family. And man, wouldn't that be amazing if you could take that one thing that you just hate, that one thing that just drives you crazy about you, and fix it so that you know that your kids, your grandkids, your great grandkids, they don't have to deal with that. Because a lot of the things we have right now are generationally passed down to us because of someone else's limiting belief.
mhm. And we can't and the same and we can't really blame them because they had someone before them that limited their beliefs.
Mhm.
So it's our purpose to break those chains, to break
Yes.
that cycle, to show people there's other ways besides what we were taught in the past that are hindering us, that are holding us back. Because especially now with all with technology and having everything, having access to all these courses and having access to all these coaches, like now you can sit down and you can have a Zoom call with coaches.
Yep.
If you can't find one within your like, near you locally or anything, this Zoom now. There's other different ways. There's courses. I'm sure you offer an online. Do you offer an online course?
Yeah, so we've got 3, based off of, three different packages based off how interactive you want it to be. We've got, and we also have a 5-day challenge that we're releasing here in the next week. So stay tuned. I'll send you some more information as that's launched. But the 5-day challenge is really to get you started, right? To just open up your mind. But to kind of explain a little bit about the coaching, it's individual, it's relationship, and it's business. And then also tied to it, I've included personal training, where you have access to a personal trainer anywhere from 3 months to a year, depending on the coaching program, because your body and your mind are so linked together, and they work so harmoniously that sometimes just by making a change on how you eat or what you do for your physical workouts, you may unlock a lot of things that are going to only help you in the future. So we included this, with a partner of an athletic company that literally will go down and design your nutrition and everything. So that way you're hitting all the 4 fundamentals your business life, your interpersonal life, your relationship life, and your physical. And what we found with this holistic approach is we've seen massive success, not only for entrepreneurs, but for those people that are out there wanting to better their lives. So we have that and more coming here in the next week. And I would encourage everyone to jump on the 5 day challenge. In fact, once that's launched, it's a $97 program, 5 day challenge. Wise, I'll give you a 50% discount for anyone that it listens to your show. And that way they can come in, get access to the 5 day challenge. And I'll tell you, day 5 will change your entire life and the way that you visualize yourself. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'll tell you that the insane amount of change that could happen by you just talking to you would be maybe the single most important thing you've ever discovered in your life.
So you hear that, everybody out there? You get a you're gonna get this code, get 50% off already on a at $97 is a good deal. So imagine, what is it, 50% off the 97?
Yeah, so it's be about $47. You'll get
Look at that. That's even bigger
yeah,
deal, even better. Like 90 it goes from $97 to 40 something. Oh man, that is awesome. That is, thank you. Um
yeah, we're super
Anybody,
excited
oh
to have
yeah,
this launch.
I'm excited to share the link. Can I use the link?
Absolutely. No, I'd love to have you on. I will say too that there are for that week, that 5 day course, you have 1 week of custom macro nutrition designed with the training. So we've even gone as far back as just saying, "Hey, we'll give you a 4 day workout in the gym." Right? We'll give you a designed workout and macros to help you. Like, because I am such a huge advocate of body and mind working together that, like I want everyone to receive this. So we want, of course, there's going to be an opportunity to really grow and to really push yourself. But I just invite people to consider that 5 day challenge, what it could do for you. And yeah, for $47, it seems like a no brainer to me. But that's why we tried to make the offer as amazing as possible.
Oh, that's an amazing offer. That is definitely an amazing. So the guest that I mean, the comment, the Facebook user that I met left the comment is Todd Verdell. He's a fellow podcaster. He's also an entrepreneur as well.
Awesome.
It's great. It's funny because I also do a little bit of graphic design on the side, and he was looking for a logo,
Mhm.
and he put it on Facebook. Oh, anybody who does logos, I'm starting a company. I need a logo. So I shoot him a message, and I go, "Hey Todd, I'm saying, what do you want in this logo? What do you need for it?" And I made him a nice simple logo. He loves it. Him and his wife have started a vending company. So I designed a little logo for him, and it's those relationships, it's those connections that you make. And he has a clothing brand for sports, it's sports fitness and all that. He's into sports fitness, and he was I had him on my show early on when I was strictly audio. He was a guest on my podcast, and I had him on. A great young man. He's probably in his late 20s. Very smart. He was real motivated, and you could see that he was passionate about what he was doing, and you can see that this is what's driving him. Is his family. It's wanting to help people get in shape, get in fit, get in good health, and all that. And so to be able to help, just to be able to do it, design a logo for him, and here you go. He was like, how much you gonna charge me? And I'm like, man, shoot me a price. Tell me how much you willing to pay. And I did it because I consider him a friend and all that. And I
Yeah.
had a number in my head, and he shot that number out. I was like, okay, that's how this works.
That's awesome, man. I love it. Yeah, I'm happy to speak to anyone on your show. And this promo, we'll just run it. Anyone that listens to the show, we'll just continue to run it for the time being. And it's all coming out. The videos and everything are being edited as we speak. And in about a week is what I'm hearing that everything goes live. So cannot wait to see some of the guests from your show, Wise, and maybe yourself as well. It'd be awesome.
Oh, send me once you send me the link, I will be posting it, sharing on social media. I'll be putting it in the description of this show,
Awesome.
everything.
Very cool. Great.
So
I
if
well, I
anybody, so if you catch this on the replay and you catch, get the code, it'll be in the descriptions, everyone.
amazing. Oh, man, I appreciate you having me on the show, and there's so much, like, I could talk mindset all day, you
I,
know?
I, I know, you can, because it's something it's something I love talking about. It's I've had a lot of friends come on and talk about mindset, and I have a friend of mine. He's a real estate broker in New York, in Brooklyn,
Oh, awesome.
and he's great dude. He's really into mindset as well, and we just had a great conversation, and so that's what I enjoy doing. That's why I enjoy doing it so much, is being able to sit down and have some great conversation. I've learned a lot while I've been sitting here with you. So this is, and it's funny because I keep talking about this, but at one point I thought I was being selfish with me doing all enjoying, because I was enjoying my show too much. I guess I'm just enjoying the conversations and just enjoying the fact that I'm learning and growing.
Mhm.
But I had a guest point out to me like, no, you're sharing the information. So
Yeah,
self love.
love it. You gotta do what makes you happy, and that way you can go make other people happy and get the full version of you, right?
Yeah,
So if you're
and that's
holding back, then you're holding back on everyone else around you too.
mhm. And that's one thing I love about this, is that I get to be myself.
Yeah.
I get to be me and just hang out, have a good time. Because I'm naturally curious about all these things. So when I do ask questions, it's because I really want to know these answers sometimes. So
No, I love it, and I love sharing. I hope you can feel the energy from the mic. That's my biggest thing is I get in this zone and I just there's so much I wanna share, right? Like, I naturally just love to just share everything I can. But obviously for the sake of time too, I you know, might have to be
no,
back on the show for a part 2, right?
we can do that. We can always
Yeah,
make that happen.
cool.
Maybe after the course, maybe after you get the course, after you get launched the course and everything,
Let's do
a
it,
couple of
yeah,
months, you
super
definitely do it.
excited.
Have you back on, see how it goes.
Very cool.
But
Awesome.
now is the time where you really get to it's your time to plug away and let everybody know where they can find everything you're doing.
Yeah, so for now, I would say go follow me on Instagram at Mr. Utah Real Estate. Like I mentioned, I was doing a marketing thing with a company out in California last week, and all the videos and everything will be designed. And so I would just recommend following there for more information as we launch this to the general public a little bit more and actually, start to build the Emerge Coaching brand. That would be the best. Or feel free to shoot me an email at theemergecoaching@gmail.com for the time being if you guys have any questions. But I'd love to collaborate and answer any questions that I can.
So you hear that, Todd? That he gave you his email. Shoot him an email. Let him know who you are. You was listening to him on the show, and maybe I could collaborate on something.
Absolutely. Love to do it.
But don't leave just yet. Let me just close out the show, do my shout outs, and we're gonna chat a little bit off the air.
Sounds great. Thanks, Wise.
Thank you for being a great guest. All right, now it is time for shout outs. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. Casey, thank you for coming through. He inspirational. They said you're inspirational, Jesse. They love me. Thank you. We love you back. Big shout out to Ben from BS3 Network. We're live on the BS3 Network right now. You can download it on Roku, um, YouTube. You can catch it on the BS3 Network YouTube channel. You catch us on It's Like My Mind YouTube channel and the Real Wise TV YouTube channel, as well as the Real Wise Productions Facebook group. Big shout out to my Real Wise fam, Bobby J, Brandy J, love you guys. Big shout out to the boss lady, Fina, love you. Big shout out to our guest, Jesse Fisco, for coming through and dropping some gems, man. And definitely check out his website, sign up for the course. I'll have the code for you guys to get 50% off. So definitely check it out. I think everyone who needs some coaching and mentoring, definitely sign up for this course. And as always, a big shout out to all the essential workers out there. God bless y'all. Be safe. You know how your boy Wise does it. Peace out.